So I just saw the new JJK Zero movie, or Jujutsu Kaisen Zero. If you don't know anything about Jujutsu Kaisen, this isn't a bad place to start. This is a prequel to the entire series, basically, all way before you meet Megumi, Yuji, and Nobara. If you don't know what Jujutsu Kaisen is, to put it simply, it's like Ghostbusters, but instead of using proton packs to get the ghost, they use sorcery and fighting to kill the ghosts. But ghosts in this series are known as curses, and students go to the school, the Jujutsu Kaisen High School, to learn how to use curses to fight against other curses, or curse techniques, I should say. And sometimes these students are cursed themselves, and they use that to fight the curses. I am saying curses way too much, whoops. Anyways, this movie follows not Yuji. This movie follows Yuta, not Yuji. Yuji is in the TV show. This movie is before the TV show. I am confusing myself. Yuta Okatsu is a character that's been mentioned in the show multiple times due to how influential and powerful he is. Some of the characters talk about him a lot, mostly Panda.
俺らは去年出てねえよ。去年は人数合わせでユータが参加したんだ。に伝えとけ。お前も出ろと。めんどくせえ。俺パンダ、人間の言葉わからない。鮭。
Gojo, the teacher in the show, he talks about him sometimes too.
悲惨だけじゃない。はかりに乙骨。そっちの東堂。生徒のレベルも近年急激に上がっている。
I think most of the characters that aren't the main three talk about Yuta in some sort of way. Anyways, this is his story. JJK Zero is his story, showing how influential he was to everyone in the show, except for the main three because they never met him and they don't know what they're talking about. I don't think this review is safe from spoilers because I need to talk about his backstory and everything, probably everything that has to do with the movie. So if you don't want to get spoiled, skip to this part of the video to not get spoiled if you don't know anything about Yuta or this character. General spoiler-free thoughts about this movie. I think it's a good start to the show. If you know nothing about the show, because yeah, you don't meet the main characters. It's an entirely new story for everyone watching it. So yeah, watch this movie. Now onto spoilers.
あれ? お前はつまらんな。
So the backstory to Riku, no wait, what's his name? So the backstory to Yuta is that he was a young boy. He was in love with this girl named Riku. Oh, that's what I just got both of their names mixed up for a second. That was weird. Anyways, Riku was in love. Riku was in love with Yuta. Yuta was in love with Riku. And Riku gave him a ring to signify their love. They said they're gonna get married forever and ever. Right after that, Riku gets hit by a car. And like her head was smashed. It was very nasty. This movie is PG-13, by the way. Death of a child in a PG-13 movie. Isn't that great? Only in Japanese animation. Anyways, Yuta sees this. He is obviously horrified. I mean, I would be horrified if I saw a dead child on the street. But he sees this and he's like horrified by it. And Riku actually, in spirit form, attaches to Yuta. And yeah, because they had vows and now they're supposed to be together forever. It's very creepy when you see it in action. Riku is this spirit that was attached to him. Yeah, they exchanged their vows at a young age and now they're bounded for life. Riku cannot be around people because if anyone teases or is mean to Yuta, if anyone is mean to Yuta, then they get murdered and die in a very brutal fashion, which is great to see. He like stuffed a teenage boy inside a locker. That's a great image, by the way. Like literal pretzel style. Not like meanly putting somebody into a locker and they're fine, but like compressing somebody into like a pretzel or like a knot, like they're just dough and then just stuffing them in. That was an image that stuck out to me in the movie. This movie is PG-13, by the way. I'm glad that movies like, I don't know, the Batman and this are like pushing the boundaries of what you can and cannot put into a PG-13 movie. Anyways, he gets taken to Jujutsu Kaisen High School because, yeah, he keeps killing children. I mean, not children, teenagers with his curse. And he cannot even end himself. Riku won't let him because, yeah, when he tried to with a knife, she smashed it. Gojo takes him into Jujutsu Kaisen High School so he can learn how to deal with his curse. And the movie is basically him, yeah, trying to deal with his curse that he had for years. If we're gonna start with anything, I guess we can start with him, Yuta, the main character, because he's the main character. Yuta is extremely likable and he is very different than any of the other characters in the show. He is very sweet, he's very sensitive, and he doesn't want to hurt anybody, which is really hard for him to do because his curse won't let him not hurt anybody. And no, he isn't a Megumi clone, despite what other people might say. I actually thought he was like the dad of Megumi because this is a prequel. I think Yuta isn't too much older than Megumi. Megumi is like younger. And unlike Megumi, Megumi is like really mean, and yeah, he's shy too, but he can be really mean and really like dickish. Like he's a introvert, but he's kind of a dick when he wants to be.
ちゃんとしてるだから迷惑だっつーの
Yuta is kind of the opposite actually. Yeah, he's really sweet. So stop getting them mixed up, please. Also, Itadori is not Inumaki, even though they look alike. Speaking of Inumaki, he's probably one of the best characters in this. Panda, what's her name? Panda, Maki, and Inumaki are pretty much side characters in the show. And if you love those characters, you're gonna probably love this movie because they're in it a lot. Without giving any spoilers, they both have individual moments to shine. Panda's great because he's a panda and he's adorable and I love him. Inumaki is adorable too. He's like quiet. He cannot say a word. His curse is that whatever he says will happen. Like his voice, kind of like the remote from Click. It can pretty much do anything if he says it. The only drawback to his curse is that his throat gets sore right after he uses it. And Maki is a badass girl boss. She is awesome and I love her. What else do you want? All these three characters get along with and have a bond with Yuta throughout the movie. Even if you don't know the characters from the show, you get a lot of characterization from them. If anything, you get a lot more development from watching the movie too, because yeah, they're not really present in the show despite them being very cool. Even Gojo has a few moments. He has a really big cool action scene with another person that I won't spoil, but it's really cool. I love Gojo too. He's like a very silly sensei when it comes to teaching his students. He's like a really powerful sorceress, but he doesn't take anything seriously. He's a really big goofball.
Hora 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 hora.
And yeah, I love him too. I'll mention this right before it slips my mind, but the animation is extremely gorgeous. Jujutsu Kaisen has always had some of the best animation when it comes to the fights. They are some of the most beautiful, jagged, and chaotic fights I've ever seen in any anime. And yeah, that translates well to this movie. Just lots of chill-worthy moments when it comes to the fights, especially the end fight. You will definitely get chills when watching this movie if you love this kind of animation. It's like chill-worthy animation, that's what I'll call it. The highlights in both the movie and the show are the animations of the curses. They all look very jagged and unnatural. They like look wavy and yeah, very creepy, and that's also complemented with creepy voice work, like jagged unnatural sounding warbly noises from the demons. Not demons, curses. Jujutsu Kaisen is a modern day Demon Slayer. Yes, that is correct. But not to compare the two, but Demon Slayer has a lot of beautiful action scenes. Like the animation in those are like extremely beautiful, but Jujutsu Kaisen pulls off a mixture of beautiful animation while also being extremely chaotic and adrenaline rushing and chill inducing. There's lots of variety when it comes to Jujutsu Kaisen and its animation. And yeah, I don't want to compare these two animes because they're both like extremely popular. I think both of them won Best Anime of the Year when they both came out the respective year they came. Speaking of Demon Slayer, do I think this movie is better than the Demon Slayer movie that came out last year? I think they're both great in their own way. Like, the Demon Slayer movie is a continuation of the first season. Even the first 8 episodes of Demon Slayer are just the movie split into 8 episodes. But JJK 0, Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the benefit of watching this movie if you haven't seen the anime is that you won't get lost at all. Everybody who's watching it, especially newbies, will get woven into this new story. So yeah, you don't have to watch all 23 episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen to like catch up and know everything. You can just come in fresh and not have a care in the world and not worry about watching the show and not being worried about being lost, because yeah, newbies won't get lost. This is a new story, so you can relax. As its own movie, yeah, I was really satisfied with it. I was very satisfied by the end of it. It has probably one of the best climaxes in the movie, best endings to a movie this year. I haven't seen much this year. It starts off with 2 missions and then the story gets going. Probably one of the problems I had. One of the very few problems I had. I mean, if you love this show, you'll definitely be satisfied. And I was satisfied. I'm giving this movie a grade 0 out of 0 because that's appropriate because it's Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Okay, bye.